So my symbol was the mountain, and I wasn't really expecting to get this symbol, but in the end, I kind of see how the mountain actually connected back to me. Because when I was making my collage, I was thinking about how I was very interested in like Buddhism and Asia in general, and so I wasn't expecting to get a mount to for someone else to like see a lot of peaks or mountains in the collage. But then in the end, the Buddhism part, it just came back to me. And while I was researching about the mountain, I learned about like the cosmic mountain, and what that is like cosmic. It means like something that is like connected to heaven and earth. And I learned that so in the east, so there are people who are very interested in mountains because they like believe that the higher you go, the more connected you are to the heavens. And what I found interesting was that in the west, some have thought of mountains as like creations that like scarred the face of the earth, or like they saw it as like something fractured and imperfect, and like something that like destroyed an otherwise symmetrical world. And like in the end, I came up with like my own meaning of like a mountain. I like um something I found beautiful about the mountain is that whether people like look up to it or like worship the mountain or something, or whether people think a mountain is like imperfect or like scarred the face of the earth, the mountain is still gonna remain, and it's not going to like, the mountain is like indifferent or like doesn't care about how people perceive it. The mountain is going to stay, and it's just a peaceful figure that will always remain in nature.
Wow.
So my symbol was honey, and beginning the process, we did the collage, and I used a lot of warm colors to like surround whatever I was like putting onto the paper. And in the middle, I had a lot of like images that had to do with religion or like or luxury. So of course, no one would automatically turn to honey. Like that had no correlation. However, looking into those things, you can find a little bit of the aspects of honey into it. There's a little bit of luxury, like a majesty, a queen bee, and warmth, because the color yellow or the golden color can also perceive like comfort or being close and together, and purity, of course, like something sacred. And in many cultures, like the Sumerians and Indians, they fed honey to the gods or like newborn rulers, and that would show that their immortality. So going to the cloisters and the Reuben, I was able to like look into the religious side of honey, and I really saw the sacredness of like what like the bees were producing, and I really fell in love with just a sugary substance.
Wonderful.
My symbol is hat, and so basically I kind of, my idea was from my collage, and I didn't even really mean to, but like I came across an entire page of just like hats, like a whole bunch of, I think baseball caps. Okay. But yeah, I thought it was like a good, I wanted to like kind of have it interact with the page, so like I incorporated a lot of hats. And so then hats was like stood out to me, and I kind of realized that hats was kind of like something that I don't know, like I've seen, not seen, but like my family uses hats a lot, or like my dad, he has like an entire hat collection, so like I kind of like got that kind of concept from there, and I incorporated it into my drawing because it's just like a whole bunch of hats. And so I wanted to do, like I learned a lot about like the history of hats throughout the world, I guess, and so I wanted to show hats like from ancient times to more modern times, which is like would be the bottom. And hats throughout history has always been shown to, or like to communicate about how they provide like disguise and like like what hat a person wears can communicate what they are trying to be, I guess, or like it gives them like a new identity. So the reason why I'm at the bottom of this is because like I feel like in a way, like through life we take on a whole bunch of new identities throughout the course of our life, and I kind of I wanted to show the stacks of identities that we all take on as people. And in my artist statement I kind of mentioned how like throughout like the amount of identities you take on, it can be like it can take a toll on the person depending on how many like how many hats or identities they have taken on throughout their life. I feel like that's it. Yeah.